What's up everybody, and welcome back to another real estate video. If this is your first time to this channel and you want to know everything there is to know about Texas, well boy are you in the right place. Hi, my name is Shari Hensley and I'm a realtor living and working right here on Galveston Bay. Today we're going to talk about the 10 reasons why Texas may not be right for you. Texas has been one of the most moved to states in the country for a long time. This has caused the state to change in some ways. Now, Texas has jobs, is relatively safe, and was thought to be a very affordable state until recently. Because of this, it really shouldn't be a big surprise that it's a popular place for people looking for a better life. For example, everybody moved to California for a long time because it was a great place to make money. Now though, people are leaving because it's too expensive. If you're thinking about moving to Texas, this video really is for you. First, let me say that these videos are just a list of things you should know before you move to our great state. Even though the title of the video is Reasons Not to Move Here, I'm not telling you to not move here. Really, it's just a title that sounds good and it gets the point across. Before moving to Texas, there are 10 things you should know, think about, talk about with your family. You know, that really wouldn't even fit on the screen. Some of the things on this list may even seem like reasons to move here. Some people can't stand the heat, others love it. So some of these things could be on a list of reasons to move to Texas. It really just depends on who you are. Okay, y'all, let's get right to it. Number 10, sweltering summers. Texas is hot and humid, especially in the Houston area and all along the Gulf Coast. During the summer, most of the state is pretty humid. In July, the temperature is usually in the mid to high 90s and stays there, rarely dropping below 90 degrees. Now, August isn't much better and it starts to cool down about the middle of September. But during the summer, if you aren't close to a body of water, adults in Texas build pools, build metal stock tanks, and they buy kiddie pools, and we just sit in them in our backyards. To be honest, it's kind of relaxing to sit in that pool and drink a Shiner Bock and eat some good Texas barbecue and maybe a little Mexican food. Number 9, traffic. Texas traffic is getting worse, and it's going to be much worse in cities like Dallas, San Antonio, Austin, and Houston. In Texas, we love our cars, trucks, and motorcycles. It's a rite of passage to drive and really a sense of independence. I grew up in Houston and it just gets worse year after year. A study by the Texas Department of Transportation found that Texas has more car accidents than any other state, which makes bumper-to-bumper traffic even worse if accidents happen every day, especially during rush hour. Now, in our defense, you can make the claim that we are densely populated and our cities are far and wide. So, the average driver's on the road more, and it makes sense that if you're on the road more, the more likely you are to have an accident. Now, big cities have bus systems and some rail, but for the most part, travel is in personal vehicles here. Number 8, high property taxes. Texas has some of the highest property taxes in the country. In fact, we're ranked near the top. But since we don't have a state income tax, y'all, the government needs money to run. Number 7, severe weather. Texas is vulnerable to just about everything weather related. Well, maybe not earthquakes, avalanches, or tsunamis, but we do experience tornadoes, flooding, hailstorms, thunderstorms, hurricanes, and wildfires. Not all areas experience all of these weather phenomena, but when it comes to severe weather, Texas does experience some wicked weather. Word from a native: when you move to Texas and you buy your home, make sure you have all the right insurance in place. In Galveston County and anywhere along the Gulf Coast, you're gonna wanna have flood, windstorm, and hazard coverage. Number 6, healthcare. Houston, Texas has the largest medical center in the country, but the main reason for our low ranking is the number of uninsured residents. Number 5, open carry. There are different camps on this topic, and I am really not here to debate it with you. I am simply communicating information. Some people love the open carry to protect our families and our property. After the recent school shooting in Uvalde, it's certainly been a hot topic no matter what side you're on. There are some people who have lived in Texas their whole lives and they don't like what's going on here, and they kind of blame it on Californians for moving here. And their motto is, "Don't California my Texas." They think that there are too many Californians moving to Texas. And well, y'all, they're kind of right. Studies show that most people moving to Texas are from California. Are you thinking about moving to Texas? Comment below, tell me where and why. Number 4, affordability. Housing prices are going up, which is one of the main reasons why people want to move to Texas. If you wanted to live the American dream, you could buy a house in Texas for half the price you could in California, New York City, Connecticut, or Massachusetts. Texas is a great place to buy a home because it's cheap, but that's really starting to change. If you've been watching the news, you'll see cities like Austin have seen real estate prices rise about 30% in the last year, but that's starting to change. Texas still has affordable housing, but probably not for much longer. That's why it's on this list. There's no sign of that slowing down. So if you're thinking about moving to Texas, do it now, because in the next 3 or 4 years, it won't be considered an affordable place to buy a home. Please don't take this video to mean that Texas is a bad state. It's a great state. It's my home state. But nothing's perfect, y'all. People have been moving to Texas because it has jobs, good jobs, in the tech industry, the medical field, and the oil and gas industry. Texas was thought to be a very affordable state until recently. Now, this really shouldn't be a big surprise, because whenever a place is doing well, people want to move there. Number 3, it's getting crowded. As we've been talking about, a lot of people are moving to Texas, mostly from California. This is causing more and more problems, and it's not just making the locals angry. There are so many people moving to Texas, but it's getting harder and harder for the state government to handle. With that many people moving in, you have to start reworking your infrastructure. Classrooms get crowded. They need to build more schools, hospitals, power plants, water treatment facilities, apartments, homes, subdivisions. There are some plans in place like train systems and other things to help with traffic. This is a problem that really isn't going to go away, especially if you live in Lubbock or Amarillo. Number 2, political divide. Every year, the political divide in the U.S. gets bigger and bigger. There's always been some tension between the two parties, but in the last 15 years or so, it's gone into overdrive, where if you're a Republican, you hate the Democrats. Democrats hate Republicans because of how they vote. And there's a lot of that going on right now in the U.S. Texas is one of the hot spots, as we said earlier. Now, there's a reason for that. A lot of people from California are moving to Texas. Most Californians are liberal, and a lot of them vote for the Democratic Party. Texas has traditionally been a very red, conservative state. This is a problem because as time goes on, our elections get closer and closer. Usually when someone leaves a state like California or New York, they move to a state with similar political views. For example, if you're a liberal leaving California, you might move to Oregon or Washington. If you're a Republican and you leave California, you'll probably go somewhere like Arizona or Idaho. Y'all, Texas isn't following that trend. Instead, we're attracting people from all over, which is changing what's happening at the polls. To be fair, it's really not just Californians moving here that are changing the election results, and it's not all California's fault either. Democrats and others are switching parties to Republican and vice versa. This makes things even more tense in the state when it comes to politics. Number 1, housing prices are going up. One of the biggest draws to Texas for as long as anyone can remember has been the low cost of housing. You really could live the American dream by buying a house in Texas for half the price you could in California, New York City, Connecticut, or Massachusetts. Texas is a great place to buy a home because it's inexpensive, but that's starting to change. Real estate prices in cities like Austin have gone up by 30% in the last year. Texas still has affordable housing, but probably not for much longer. That's why it's on this list. There's no sign that will change in the next 3 or 4 years. So if you want to move here, you really need to do it now. If you've got some value out of today's video, you're really going to love the next one.